Amsterdam was a pogrom, and the definition of a pogrom is that the police is not getting involved and letting the rioters do whatever they want. That's what happened in Russia, in Kishinev, 120 years ago. And it looks like this happened again in Amsterdam 2 weeks ago. The police of the city was not active, even though there was information about the organization of riots against Israelis and Jews in Amsterdam after the football match, and the police just wasn't there. And it was all organized. It was organized by Uber and taxi drivers who message each other, telling them in which hotels there are Israelis, in which hotels there is no police, and there was almost zero reaction of the Amsterdam authorities. I met last week with the foreign minister of Holland, and I told him that the whole world is looking to him, to Amsterdam, and to Holland to see how you are going to deal with these anti-Semites, with these rioters. Because if you're not going to give the right response, this can happen again and again and again all over Europe and all over the world. And I told him, the whole world is looking at you, from Washington to Kabul, what you are going to do and what you're not going to do. And he answered me, yes, I know, and we have a big responsibility, and we're going to make sure to punish the rioters. And from what I understand, the government is also thinking of extending the terrorism definition for those people who took part in these riots, and the government is even contemplating taking the citizenship away from those who took part in those riots. We're thinking ourselves of approaching Uber and asking that all the drivers who work for Uber use the Uber app to take part in those riots, should be banned from working for Uber till the rest of their lives, and they should be banned for Uber for the rest of their lives. The truth is, we should do the same thing with WhatsApp as well. WhatsApp was abused by those rioters as well. So we are being challenged, and we are being challenged by those people who are trying to destroy our way of life, our liberties, and our security by organizing riots against peaceful citizens. So when I spoke 2 nights ago, at dinner of the Conference of European Rabbis in Munich, I said that according to the Jewish calendar, which is the 17th of Cheshvan, it was the day that the flood started. And we all know the biblical story of Noah gathering all the animals in his ark in order to survive the flood. And as we live today in a world of clips and images, we know an image is like 1,000 words and a video clip is like 10,000 words. I would like to say that when you go into social media, you can see a lot of clips of wildlife in the jungle. You know, tigers with lions, with zebras, with crocodiles trying to eat each other. And the rule of the jungle is that always the strongest survive. But humanity, civilization is supposed to be different. Civilization is, you're supposed to have rules, you have cities, you have neighborhoods, you have judges, you have policemen. So civilization of humanity is organized while the jungle is a free-for-all. And I think if we take a look at the pictures which are emanating from the biblical story of Noah and Noah gathering the animals in the ark, it's just that also in his generation, it was just the opposite. It were the animals who were able to stand in line 2 by 2 to enter the Ark of Noah, while civilization broke down and turned into one big mess, one big jungle. So the Jewish community, which is an integral part of Europe, we're even saying to Europe, if anti-Semitism is being allowed to rampage and to organize pogroms and riots, Europe is going to turn into a jungle for everyone. And it's going to affect the security of everyone's child, of everyone's father, and everyone's wife. So we have to protect the security of our continent, of our European Union and our countries and cities. It is not for the sake of the Jewish community, it's for the sake of every citizen of Europe. I would like to tell Jewish leaders today the following. Number one, don't be afraid. Because if you're afraid, you're going to lose. Number two, don't stay silent. Those who stay silent don't count. Speak up. And number three, fight. We have to fight not only for ourselves, not only for our own sakes, but for the sake of every citizen of Europe. The CER unites over 700 communal rabbis from Dublin to Vladivostok. And in many communities, it is the rabbi who is the most proficient Jewish professional in the city who can articulate to the community and to the authorities the issues which are of concern to the Jewish community which he leads. And therefore, it is the rabbi who is supposed to listen, to gather that information, and to understand the political situation, and to communicate the concerns of the members of his community to the power, to the government. According to statistics, 75% of European Jews are trying to hide somehow their Jewish identity when they walk in the streets. This is not healthy, but it's better to walk securely in the streets than to be beaten up by some anti-Semites. On the other hand, we have to do everything to strengthen our communities, to strengthen our beliefs, to strengthen our knowledge, and to strengthen the feeling of togetherness, of peoplehood, and of hope, because the good news is that we have gone through much worse times in the past, and we have survived and we have thrived. The wave of legislation against shchita and milah, against circumcision and against kosher slaughter, has actually been directed at the Muslim immigrant community in Europe by the old Europeans who did not and don't want to see those new immigrants in Europe. We, the Jews, we are the collateral damage. But what we are saying is that if you want to fight anti-Semitism and radical Islam, that's not the way, by legislating against religious freedom. Fight the terrorists, fight the radicals. Don't fight Islam as a religion. We are all Europeans. We all know that a breakdown in insecurity and incivility is a breakdown of our society. Anti-Semitism is not only a threat to us, it is the threat to society as a whole. And this also helps us in our dialogue with other faiths, with the Muslims and with Christians. I've been the president of the Conference of European Rabbis since 2011. We have gone through many challenges from within and without, and on questions of religious freedom. We have been instrumental in helping communities defend their religious freedoms. We have been able to vocalize and articulate the concerns of the Jewish community in terms of religious freedoms which are under attack in Europe. And furthermore, we have been able to solve one of the most burning issues of the Jewish community since emancipation. It is the aguna issue of chained women who were not able to receive the bill of divorce. and according to Jewish law were still considered married, and there was no Jewish institution which was able to force on the husbands to send a bill of divorce to their wives. And by our legislation, which was pushed through the Israeli parliament, through the Knesset, we were able to solve 80 to 85% of the Aguna cases in Europe. We are the voice of Judaism in Europe, and in a place which is still divided into many different languages and many different cultures. Even though they're united in the European Union, the Conference of European Rabbis gives a united voice of Judaism to the European community. The Conference of European Rabbis is the voice of Judaism in Europe. It is a united voice of Jewish communities in 27 countries, even more, 27 countries inside the European Union and another dozen countries outside the European Union. It is a united voice. And today, when Europe is united in the European Union and in the Council of Europe, but Europe is still speaking in many different languages, has many different cultures, and has a very diverse history with its Jewish communities, we give a united, clear voice of the Jewish community to the European institutions and European politicians, and we serve as the Chief Rabbinate of Europe for most Jewish communities in Europe.